Hey y'all, welcome to the Hookers and Conversation podcast. It's time to shake this shit up.
Shake it up, and shake it up,
Shake this shit,
and shake it up, and shake it up,
shake this shit up.
shake it up, and shake it up,
Shake this shit,
and shake it up, and shake it up,
shake this shit up.
shake it up, shake it up, and shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, and shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, and shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, and shake it up. Hey y'all, come join us and shake this shit up. Hey you guys, welcome to Hookers and Conversation. This is your girl Tamika. I do have a special guest today, which I'm very excited. Been trying to get this girl on for a minute. I have my guest, what's your name?
Miss Jess.
She said Miss Jess today. So I'm super excited to have her on, you guys. I met her, which is wild. I met her when I was getting one of my piercings because she loved piercings. And the conversation we had was amazing. So I said, Jess, I want you and your husband to be on my podcast. But I just said, let me just have you, because maybe you can be yourself a little bit more. We can get down and dirty. So today we are drinking. So Jess decided she don't want no alcohol. So she is drinking pink lemonade with a hint of mango. And I am drinking, since she's not drinking, I said I gotta just pipe it up just a little bit. I'm drinking Smirnoff pineapple with a splash of mango. And today we are smoking, what flavor we smoking? Let me see. Did you hit it?
Mm-hmm. I can't tell what flavor it is though.
Let's see. I think I put Caribbean and blueberry mint. So yeah, I know I normally do my Mighty Freeze, but today I was like, let me do something different. It's good. It's good. It's good.
It's
You
good.
like it?
It's very good.
Now I normally ask my guests like, do they like it? They don't like it, but you like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, Jess. Let's get into business. Let's get this thing going. So, okay, tell my listeners a little bit more about you. I didn't know your name, Miss Jess. But tell us a little bit more about you. Where you from? If you're not from here, what brought you here? Like, put us in your business.
All right. Well, I'm Jess, and I'm actually from Chicago.
Okay.
I moved here a little over a year ago for my job.
Chi-town. Okay.
Yeah, from the Chi-town. So it's very different here than it is in Chicago.
Why you say?
Well, to be fair, I live a lot closer to the city now than I did before. I was in the suburbs before, and now I'm like part of the city. I'm technically in College Park, but I'm like.
So hold on, how you like College Park? Cause that's where I hang out at. How you like it? Is it too hood? You can be honest. Be honest.
It's not the same as where I'm from.
Okay.
Are
you saying it's more black people? What are you saying?
Well, I feel like where I come from, it's very white.
Okay.
It's very white.
Okay.
Like that's
okay.
That's where I come from.
Uh-huh.
So it's very different here. I'm so much more comfortable here.
You are.
Yeah, than I am in Chicago, and because I was living in a smaller town outside of Chicago, and it was a little redneck for me.
Oh.
So
like they was kind of racist.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I put out in front of my house, and I'll keep it brief, but I put out a flag in front of my house, a rainbow flag with a fist on it.
Okay.
With a, like a black fist. It was really like just an awesome flag.
Uh-huh.
I hung it out there, and within 3 hours, my neighbor across the street hung out a Confederate flag, which in Illinois means something totally different than it does down here.
Okay, what do it mean? Break it down to
it means racism. It means, Southern pride. They say Southern pride, but really, I mean, what other than...
So did she not like the fist, or did she not like the rainbow?
I don't know. It was the husband. The wife I was cool with. I'm still good friends with the wife. Like we're cool, but the husband... the Trump flags came out. I mean, we had a whole flag war.
It went crazy.
It went wild.
You started some shit on that.
I did. I like to the point where people would drive down the street and stop between our two houses because they were right across the street from me.
Wow.
And they would stop right in front of the house, and you could see them looking back and forth between the two houses because I had Martin Luther King signs out. I had Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You gotta represent us, Jess.
I had it all. I I even had a custom flag made, and it was a fist holding and crumpling the Confederate flag, and that was the last flag that I put up. And I put that flag up the same day that the two of them split temporarily.
Okay.
And she took down all of his flags, but they had.
So it was him. It was him.
It was completely him.
Yeah.
And they had Trump flags. They had a flag out that made me mad. It said LGBT, but underneath it said Liberty Guns Beer Trump.
Oh, he was searching for them flags.
Mm-hmm.
He was searching.
Yes. And I put one out that said POTUS. It was a sign in the yard and said POTUS with like a, it was
POTUS.
President of the United States.
Okay.
But underneath it,
keep me going.
but underneath it, instead of POTUS, it said piece of totally useless shit. So we went wild on this flag war. Like, I've got pictures. It was so I do somewhere. I'll have to dig them out.
You gotta send them so I can show the listeners.
I'll have to dig them out. But yeah, it was wild. I had all kinds of stuff. I still have some of the stuff. I've got like a Black Lives Matter flag, and I've got something that said a flag that said impeach Trump. And then this big, huge tapestry that was Colin Kaepernick's face, and across his eyes it says, "I'm with Cap."
Oh, that's dope.
So, yeah, I mean, it's humongous. It took up this whole big bay window in the front of the house. I mean, it was...
had flag war.
It was a war. It was so much fun. And at the time, I didn't have
kids.
Fun. Oh, my God. I had so much fun with that because I was, I didn't have anything else going on in my life. I had disposable income. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have anything else going on. I'm like, let's do this. Let's go.
So that's pretty dope. So since you're here now, it's like you said, it's different, right? And you said you're much comfortable but you missed the flag war though.
I missed the flag war. That was pretty fun.
You ain't gonna have no wars down here.
No,
unless you go like deep in.
Yeah, you got to get into Georgia.
But they may start shooting.
Yeah, when we went house hunting, mm-hmm. we ended up my poor realtor. We ended up out in the sticks somewhere, and I was so uncomfortable on her behalf because she's a black woman, mm-hmm. and like not she's dark skinned. She's like there's no passing for white. Like she is a black woman. She is a beautiful mm-hmm. black woman. Mm-hmm. And we got out into this neighborhood, and I pulled into the cul-de-sac, and I was like, I'm so uncomfortable with the number of Confederate flags in this neighborhood. I don't want my kid out here, and I certainly don't want you out here. Let's just go. Right. Let's just get the hell out of here.
Right, because now you got your kid involved, you got another person involved. And
she's a mixed child.
Yeah.
So I'm not planning on raising her in anywhere. No, we ended up out in Bremen a little bit, and I was like, It's too close to Alabama. You can hear the banjos. It's too close. No, we're not doing all that.
But so how does she feel? With being like mixed. Like, how old is she?
She's 3.
Okay, so
she doesn't know. She doesn't understand.
But I was just telling my husband like that's what I like about kids, because you can have. We was at the airport, and it was Mexican, it was white, it was black, and they was at the airport playing football. Inside the airport.
I love that.
Do they supposed to be playing football inside the airport? No. But the beauty of it was all the kids was playing together. Yep. They were all boys playing with trucks, football in the airport last week. And the dads got together and started talking. So I'm like, do they know each other?
Racism
and then my husband
taught.
was like, no, definitely taught.
It is taught. That is a taught behavior.
Because the kids got together and didn't care about nothing.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be taught because the kids don't see color.
Nope, they sure don't.
They don't see color at all. They just see, I want to play with this person. I want to play with this person's toys. So that's pretty amazing. I want the listeners to understand why you're here. Okay, so I'm going to start with this question. What type of relationship are you in?
I am in a straight passing relationship.
And explain straight passing.
So I am a bisexual woman, and my husband is a bisexual man.
Okay.
So we are in a relationship that, to the outsider, appears to be a straight relationship. Mm-hmm. But because we are both bisexual, it's not really a straight relationship because neither of us are straight.
Right. So, when I met you, all this had blew my mind. You remember?
Yes.
And I was like, wait, hold on, y'all together, y'all straight. He was like, no. And so I was like, but y'all married and y'all happy, and you said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you keep that happiness knowing that you want to hit the hookah? Because, you know, I be holding on to the hookah.
No,
you
you're
got to
good.
say pass the hookah. Knowing that, do you think that he would look at someone else, or do he think that you would look at someone else? Like, break that down to the listeners.
I feel like it's the same as with any other kind of a relationship. You know, if you just have twice as many prospects.
Not prospects.
I mean, think about it. So you're walking down the street and you see somebody who is absolutely fine.
Okay.
For you, that would be a man.
Okay.
For me, it could be a man or a woman.
Right.
So there's twice as many people that could walk by that I find to be attractive. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to do anything about it. Just the same as in a straight relationship, you wouldn't do anything about it.
It's nothing wrong with looking. You know, just don't act on it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's it. It's just because both of us are attracted to our same gender as well as any other gender,
mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that there's, you know, one of the biggest things that I come across is that a lot of people think that bisexual or pansexual people are polyamorous.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily the case. There are a lot who are.
Okay.
But there are a lot who aren't.
So when you say pansexual, like, explain that, because everything is new for me.
The difference between bisexual and pansexual is very specific to the person that you're speaking to. To me personally, I identify as bisexual.
Okay.
And the definition that I use for bisexual is that I am attracted to my same gender as well as genders that are different from mine.
Okay.
Therefore, the bi.
The bi. Okay.
Now,
that's the bi.
Right. Now, some people define it as being attracted to men and women, which is largely transphobic.
Okay.
Which is why pansexual was created as a description. I'm old school. I'm from before the time when.
So how old are you then? Sound like you old school.
I'm not really old. I'm not old. I'm 35, but I'm old school.
But you think old school.
I think old school.
Gotcha.
And so for me, I choose to identify as bisexual because, for one, when you read out LGBT, the B is me.
So what do that actually mean? Because everybody always say LGBT. Like, what does each, do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, what does it actually mean?
It's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender.
Okay.
And then the Q that you see at the end stands for either queer or questioning.
What's that?
So another way that I often define myself is queer, which is just not straight.
Okay.
So that's
so that's
very
the questioning part.
Yeah, and some people will say, you know, hey, I don't know if I'm straight or not. I haven't decided yet. I don't know. I haven't explored enough to understand my own sexuality, so I'm questioning.
Okay, so they the cute.
Right.
Okay, so that's why, like, that community is so big.
Yes.
Because you have all of them.
Everything except for cis straight people is included in that.
That's
acronym.
fucked up. I get along with the gays, you know. So, but okay. So, what's the difference between how you identify yourself, right, and swinging? Because when you think, like, I thought when I met you, that was the same thing, you know. But you broke it down to me, so break it down to them. So
swinging is going outside of your relationship.
Okay.
So, and that's where I was talking about polyamorous, which is there's polyamorous, meaning that you can be in multiple relationships at the same time.
But your mate must know.
Right. And there is a whole lot of communication that happens in those relationships. They are very open and honest. You can still cheat in a polyamorous relationship, but that is something totally different. That's a different conversation for a different day.
But the thing is, don't you, with that relationship, don't you, like, okay, say for instance, if I was in one, if I had to tell my mates or whatever, they have to meet each other. Like, it's rules and regulations to this, right?
It depends on the couple.
Okay.
So, like, if, let's say my husband and I were polyamorous.
Okay.
And I went to him and I said, hey, I met somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the rules that he and I have decided.
Okay.
Is how we would handle that. So we could have set out the rule that he has to meet the person. Okay. Or we could have set out the rule that he trusts me and, you know, okay, have fun, you know, do you.
Yeah.
But it really just depends on that individual relationship.
Because I always, like, when I explained it, I was like, well, I met this couple, they're hetero, you know, because they, how you would look at them.
Mm-hmm.
But would they be homosexuals because of what they are doing?
Well, it depends. It really depends on how they identify themselves.
Okay.
So, for my husband and I,
okay.
we are both bisexual.
Okay.
And we are a monogamous bisexual couple.
Okay.
So, we could, if we were open to having a third person in our relationship, we would be considered to be polyamorous.
Okay, I was about to ask that. Okay.
And if we were interested in just sleeping with other people,
swingers.
That's swingers, yes.
Okay. So, but you're not interested with sleeping with someone else because you just want him right now.
Yeah,
But what
I'm
if
happy.
you? But what if? But what if you wasn't? What if you was still happy but still wanted to test the waters, like different dive?
So he and I have had that conversation. When we first actually started dating, he was an over-the-road trucker. And so we were not planning on being able to see each other very often at all.
Okay.
And so when we first started this relationship, the parameters were that we were in an open relationship.
Okay.
And what actually ended up happening was he told me he wanted it to be set up as like a don't ask, don't tell, which is totally valid. A lot of people choose to do it that way. I personally am way too damn honest for that.
Okay, so he didn't want to know nothing you was doing.
Right. He didn't want to, if I had gone and slept with somebody else, he didn't want to know.
But you didn't care about knowing.
I wanted to know,
right?
And I also wanted to be able to be honest with him about it.
Have y'all ever?
No. Mm-hmm. No, I actually set up. I set up a date with somebody else.
Okay.
And canceled it because I felt so guilty about the idea of not being able to tell him what was going on that I canceled this date with this other person. But
that's the beauty of your relationship.
I learned that day that I am a monogamous person.
Okay.
And I learned that day. I thought I was open to it until I set up that date and I was like, I don't feel right. And that was that.
This is mind blowing, bro. So let me ask you this. Okay, so what if, have he ever cheated?
No.
Have you ever cheated?
No. Okay. Not on him. I cheated on my ex. Oh. But, that was an unhappy relationship.
I feel it. But, I say, if you're in a relationship and you got to cheat, why not just get out?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
So how long did that relationship last?
11 years.
So how?
I was miserable for a really long time.
You weren't miserable the whole 11?
Probably about 10. 10?
So, and you stayed in it for 10 more years?
You ever had a headache and then it goes away and you realize that it went away and you're like, oh, I feel so much better now? Mm-hmm. That was that relationship for me. I had a headache for 10 years. And I didn't realize how miserable I was until I got out of the relationship.
And it took you 10
And it took me all of this time. It was my whole 20s. I threw my whole 20s away on this man. And he left me for a younger woman. And
I did super. Go ahead.
And I remember I was laying in bed and I remember thinking, this is so weird. All I feel is relief. And it was the most bizarre thing because I just felt relieved and I was like, I should be sad. I should be angry.
But
I should
be
all of these things.
Crying,
I cried. Don't get me wrong. I cried.
Because you loved him.
Right. And we had built this life together. We had the whole, 2 cars, nice house, white picket fence, right? We had all of the things. Mm-hmm. And I realized that I was crying over that I wasn't crying over him.
That's now, so hold on. She realized she was crying over the materialistic things instead of the mate that she was with. And you know what? A lot of people, you want the hookah?
Sure.
A lot of people mess up on that, because like in my past relationship, I stayed in it, right? Knowing that we had these conversations over and over again about the things we need to fix. We didn't know how to really fix it. Now I know how to fix those those situations, like having sex and, you know, being vulnerable and things like that, like talking about what I need in a relationship. I felt like I was talking about what I need, but didn't express openly, like, this is what I need for you to do. I just kept saying, you need to make me happy. Like, you need to figure something out. But I didn't get
generic.
Right, but I didn't tell him, like, this is what I need for you to do. I like gifts. I like this. I like
this is my love language. This is how I
didn't do that. But now, girl,
well,
I know my husband. I know my husband now. Like, ooh, I got the worst. I don't know if I got the worst of her or the best of her. But I was like, now I know exactly what I need. What I'm asking for. I know how to break it down. If you can't give me that, I can't stay in it 10 years, Jess, because I was with mine for 11 too.
Yeah.
But then he cheated and then all that happened. That's on another episode. But another question that I wanted to ask you was, how did you never been with a woman? Like, you know how you gave both men a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had like a relationship just with a woman?
I've not had a relationship with a woman. Okay. I've been with women, but I've not actually had a relationship with a woman.
So who you like most?
I get that question a lot.
The man and the woman.
I like being in relationships with men better. I understand men better. Women are very difficult to understand.
So you like men brain?
Yes, but I'm more physically attracted to women.
So you would turn your head faster with a woman.
Oh yeah.
Than you would, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's most women. You know, women look at each other, but like, oh, okay, she got to be butt.
Right. Like,
but some don't take it in as much. Like, oh, I want to try that out. Or,
right.
You know. So, but okay, so have someone ever tried to have y'all have a threesome together? That's never been a thing for me. So you're not into threesomes? I'm really not. Is he into threesomes? No. He's not? No. Okay. I mean, I never had a threesome either. Yeah, it's, for me, it's too much going on. So that's what I'm saying. How do y'all get to the places y'all at? So everything is individual. That's what it sounds like. Yes, very much. I mean, anything in the LGBT community is very much individual. It's about how you identify, how you feel inside, and how you express that. It's the same thing with gender identity. And that's why there's this whole spectrum of gender identity where you have the binary on either end, mm-hmm. and then you hear the term non-binary, which means anything that's not man or woman, mm-hmm. everything in between. It's a spectrum. So, okay, I have this one friend, they used to say, I like people from the way that I feel. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess they energy and they vibe and stuff like that. He called himself asexual. Is that really a thing? Asexual is absolutely a thing. So what's asexual? Asexual means that you don't experience the joy from physical intimacy. You can still vibe with people, you can still be in relationships with people, but you don't get as much joy out of the physical intimacy, whether it's sex or cuddling or whatever. And that's also very individual. Some people that are asexual still enjoy hand-holding, still enjoy, snuggling up on the couch, still enjoy those kinds of things, but they don't enjoy the physical act of sex. So would they be considered gay? It depends on how they identify. So, okay, so let's assume for a second that I'm asexual. Okay. So my husband and I don't have sex in this relationship. Okay. And we still love each other very much. Okay. We still cuddle up on the couch. We still hold hands. We still kiss. But I am attracted to him as a person. I vibe with him as a person. Well, damn. Was I asexual? Because you know how, like you said, you can be with somebody so long, mm-hmm. and you don't need sex. Right. So, but you just love being around those people. Yeah. But you don't need the sex. You don't need the sex. So then that would be asexual. That would be asexual. Oh, well, damn. And it's a spectrum. It's all, and there are people that consider themselves what's called gray ace. What the hell is that? Let me breaking some shit down. I gotta take a sip on this. Hold on, wait. Hold the hell on. Hold on. Okay, break this down. So gray ace is sometimes asexual and sometimes not. So this is someone who has periods of time where they are, they're into sex. Okay. And then they have periods of time where they're just not. Like, don't
completely
touch me.
not. Like, just don't come anywhere near me. I'm not interested.
Baby, now when people come to me and they tell me their problems, I know exactly what to tell them what they are now. You hear me? Because you're breaking this shit down. If y'all don't understand what she's saying, y'all need to go back and listen all over again to this episode. So, do you consider? I wish I had this live so we can see what they want to ask you. You know, because these are some deep questions. Do you consider yourself gay?
I consider myself queer.
Okay. Do your husband consider himself gay?
He considers himself queer.
Okay, so y'all both two queers together.
Yeah. Okay.
And you happy and you say you in love.
Yep.
You don't feel like it's boring sometimes?
I feel like every relationship gets boring.
Yeah. So how do you reset it though?
The same as any relationship.
What's this? Some people don't know how to reset it, so tell us how you reset yours.
Well, so right now we're in a reset period.
Okay.
My parents have our little one for a month. She's coming back next week.
Okay.
So we've had all of this time where we've kind of gotten out of our norm.
So what y'all been doing?
We've been going out to dinner. We went to a hockey game. We went, we're trying to do stuff that we can't do when the little one is around.
I got you.
And
so rebuilding that love.
Right.
All over again.
Just dating.
Dating. And people forget that. Like in a relationship, people forget to date. And that's why I try my best. Like, I know I be tired, I suffer with arthritis, I have migraines. And so I try my best not to make that an excuse for me to get up and go on a date with my husband. Mm-hmm. And then I try my best not to just plan dates. I want it to happen like spontaneously a little bit. Like he'll call me, because I had to let him know. And I told you, I'm trying to let you know about the way I feel. Like if I don't feel like you gave me a lot of attention, I'm a Cancer, so I need a lot.
Me too.
Okay. What's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
So you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
We 35 and we both Cancers. Okay. So I need a lot of attention and I love a lot of affection. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm very sensitive. Like you understand what I'm saying. So if you're falling short from that, my interest in the relationship
wavers.
Deep.
Yep.
Like I want to cuddle. You like cuddling?
Yeah, oh yeah. I need that. So my love language is touch. I'm a physical touch person. Mm-hmm. And so I have expressed that to my husband when we've had long conversations about that. His love language is talking. He wants somebody to be
about everything.
He wants to be able to talk about his day and have somebody actually listen, because he was deprived of that in previous relationships. Mm-hmm. And so, for him, his love language is being able to talk and have a conversation and have a deep conversation or a surface conversation. Just talk to me. That's his love language. Okay. And me, I'm like, let's cuddle up while we're doing that.
See, I think both of them then. Okay, so let's break these love languages down.
There's 7 of them. I don't know what all of them are.
Dang, I had the book. Put the book downstairs. Okay, so... on my phone.
I got mine.
You got yours? Yeah. Let's pull this up.
All right.
Because I'm going to take a sip and I'm going to smoke while you pulling it up.
All right.
That's the song. That's the way it's on. So this is deep. I actually like this one.
All right. So the 7 love languages.
She pulling it up, you guys.
All right. So appreciation, emotional, financial, intellectual, physical, and practical.
Okay. Let's break this down.
And activity. I missed the top one. So, see, these are different than the ones, well, physical would be mine, and his would be intellectual.
Okay. And then, what was another one? Activity, you said?
Yeah,
so is that like going out and doing all that?
Takes an interest in their hobbies and activities.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's something that y'all doing now?
Yeah. Okay. That's a lot of how we're kind of doing this reset period, is doing activities together.
Right. But I think everybody have a little bit of each love language in them.
I do too.
It's like you don't just have that one now. One may be bigger than the other. Like I love the
There's
touch.
A main one and then there's
I love
like a secondary
too.
Right. I'm a gift giver. I like to give gifts.
Yeah.
But see, and the hardest thing that I've found about relationships and navigating relationships is I communicate my love in the way that I communicate my love, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's how you receive my love.
That's
so
true.
He receives love in intellectual. He wants to have conversations. He wants to talk. And if I'm not giving my love that way, then we're missing each other.
Right, because he's like, well, you're not listening, which made me think that you're not interested.
Right, because what
like
he's
that.
looking to receive is this intellectual, this conversational relationship. And if I'm showing him love by buying him gifts, it's not getting through to him.
And see, that's what it was. That's what it was in my past relationship, and that's kind of what it is in the relationship I'm in now. I had to keep explaining to my husband, like, I like to talk. That's why I came on the podcast. I can't talk. But
that tracks.
But I like to give too. So sometimes I just buy him stuff and he be like, thanks, babe. And I'm like, dang, you know, you can do
and you feel unappreciated then at that point.
don't just say thanks, babe. You
right.
know, be like, babe, I like
this. Here's how I'm gonna use it. This is what I'm gonna do with it. I'm so excited, right? Like when you give a gift, you also are looking for that feedback that your love has been received.
Right.
And if you're not communicating out the same as they're receiving in, not only are you gonna be disappointed that you haven't given your love in a way that they've received, you're gonna feel like just kind of lost.
Yeah, like why am I in this?
Why am I even bothering with this?
Right.
And then on the other side of that, this is just an empty gesture to them because they're not understanding that that's how you're giving your love.
Right.
So you have to be able to, and this is the same with any relationship, you have to be able to communicate. And
that's key now.
And if you aren't communicating how you are showing your love and how you are receiving your love, then you're just wasting your time.
Because I tell my husband all the time, I say, you know, it's important for you to tell me, like, I love you. You know, they go deep because when I was little, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
You know, and I always wanted that. So I have other people, you know, that's special to my heart that tell me, you know, Tamika, I love you. And it means a lot. And then I have people who I'm really close to, too, that don't say it. And I'm like, so now I'm at a point in my life, right, that you say, I love you. Like, do you mean it? Are you just saying it because I
want to hear it?
Right. And so, like, now with him, I learned what he likes. So when I'm gift giving, my husband loves t-shirts. Like if we go in their room and look at all his shirts, they all say something. So now I get him shirts that say like, I got the best wife.
And the ones at the bottom where it says, yes, my wife bought me this shirt.
Yes. Girl, I'm serious. I need to buy nothing. I just bought one. He don't even know it yet. Coming up Valentine's Day. He gonna get it. But it reminds me like, okay, so when I see him wear the shirts or stuff like that, I'm like, okay, so now he's showing me that he received my love, like in that way. So he used to always say, like when we first got together dating, he's like, I'm not never buying those shirts that we're gonna be matching. Cause I was showing him like little pictures, like, oh look what married couples do, you know, happy married couples. And then, girl, we go out of town like for my birthday. I looked at the shirt. He was like, oh, let's get that one. We're going to match. Let's get that one. So every time on my birthday, we get matching shirts.
Okay.
You know, but we don't do that here. But we do it when we go out of town, which is so funny to me. Because he be like, now he's like really in tune with like, oh, babe, that would be good on us. Like, our last shirt was, what's the superheroes? He had Joker.
Okay.
And what's Joker girlfriend name?
Harley Quinn.
And I had Harley Quinn.
Okay.
And so it said, I'm his Harley Quinn or something like that.
Okay.
And it said, I'm her Joker.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, that's dope, you know.
So
y'all do that?
Oh my God.
Y'all
We're
down?
so bad. We're so bad. We're so corny with it. So I have a shirt that says, no matter where I go, trouble always finds me. And his says trouble.
Also, he's the trouble.
He's the trouble. Well, we'll trade off.
Okay.
We'll trade off. He has one that says chill because he is so laid back, and I have one that says no chill.
Okay. So it seems like you're the one who has like the most, like the attitude to keep you going, and he is like more. But you know what? In those relationships, because I'm like that too in my relationship, but we both kind of like the energy, the vibes, you know. Yeah. But he can be more chill than me. Yeah. I'm ready to party, shake my ass. He'll just be looking at me like this. Yeah, he's super laid back. He's so, and I am so not. So what's his sign?
He's an Aquarius.
Oh, mine's a Scorpio.
Okay.
Yeah. He's an Aquarius? How you deal with that?
He's just chill.
So do he think you're overbearing sometimes? Because
I try really hard not to be.
So
I really be. I absolutely can be. I am super overbearing if I need to be.
Right.
But that's that's chilled out a lot over the years. I mean, and I can look back at my relationship with my ex-husband and understand where I went wrong.
Okay.
And
that takes a lot to do.
I understand that there were a lot of things that I did in that relationship that pushed him away.
Me too.
And my 20s were a very tumultuous time in my life. And he was there for all of it. And so there was a lot of things that I did during that period of time that pushed him to do what
But that's what that's why you couldn't leave.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because he was able to deal
because he was putting up with a whole lot of shit for me.
Yeah. And you probably didn't show him, you know, we always like, we try not to, like to compare. But it happens.
Oh yeah.
It happens. So, would you say, which one was better?
In what respect? Well, I guess I don't really even have to ask that because I haven't found anything that's better about. No, my ex-husband was not well suited to me as a human being, and it was one of those things where we met and I saw a pretty face and I was like, I'm gonna marry that guy, and then I did. And with my husband now, it was so much more of an emotional connection, and it was so immediate. It was so
how did y'all meet?
Okay,
let's
see. So what had happened was,
oh Lord, here we go.
So back in 2004.
Okay. Y'all been together for a long time.
Let me explain. Okay. Let me explain. So back in 2004, I was living in Illinois, and I went on a mission trip, as a high schooler, went on a mission trip to Oklahoma. Okay. A little town called Jay, Oklahoma. Okay. Now, he's from Oklahoma. He was from about 3 hours away from Jay. Okay. He also went on the same mission trip. Okay. And so it was this thing where kids from all over the U.S. would come together. Cool. It's super cool. So we came together, and his church came, and my church came, and we basically what it is, it's called work camp, and they pair up a group of I think it's 5 or 6 kids. Okay. And then there's an adult or 2. Okay. And you go and you work on somebody's house. And you paint it or scrape the paint, or
I've seen it on TV.
Yeah. Okay. You just whatever they need to have done, you do it, and it's the quality of work that you would expect from a bunch of high schoolers, but it's free, so right. And it's supervised, so it's not like they just put the high schoolers there. There's adults involved. So he and I were on the same group together, and we just clicked immediately. We became fast friends, and it was we got in trouble for staying out past curfew because we were just talking. We were just sitting, we were out away from everything, and the sun went down, we were just sitting there, and we were just talking all night. And, we got in trouble a couple of times, and we decided that we were going to date. Which was, that
y'all
silly,
ruthless talking.
That's silly, right? It was that silly summer romance. The work camp is only a week long, and so I was going back to Illinois, and he was going back to his place in Oklahoma, and so it was we were going to do the long distance relationship thing because we were so tight. We were going to do the long distance relationship thing, and that lasted for probably about a month or so. And then we kind of lost touch. We remember it differently how we lost touch. I remember it being me that kind of pulled away from him, and he remembers that he lost my phone number. Okay. So I don't know exactly what happened, but we fell apart. And we never really broke up because we were never on bad terms. Right. We just
stopped talking.
Yeah, we just kind of stopped talking. And so years pass.
How many years?
16.
I always tell people, if it's meant to happen, baby, it will happen.
So 16 years later, and he has, over the course of this time, he has gotten married, had a whole mess of kids, gotten divorced, and his ex-wife actually helped him look for me before they got together. Wow. But he spent a significant amount of time over the course of those 16 years looking for me. And never...
Ain't nobody looking for me. I ain't had not a soul look for me.
But you don't know that. He was looking for me for 16 years. I had no idea.
Right. And you had no idea.
I had no
But I mean, goddamn, I ain't had nobody listen.
So 16 years. 16 years he kept, trying to find me on Facebook, and he couldn't remember my last name. He knew it started with a B, but he couldn't remember what it was, and he couldn't find me. And he won't tell me. He says he doesn't remember. He won't tell me how many Jessica B's he messaged on MySpace and Facebook. He won't tell me. Yes. He won't tell me, and he says he doesn't remember. I think he remembers. He says it was a significant number. But he messaged a whole bunch of people trying to find me and all this kind of stuff. And finally, in June of 2020, he found me.
True love, baby.
And he was like, I was so worried you weren't even gonna remember me. And as soon as his name popped up, I was like, oh my god. So,
oh my god, this is a love story.
So then we were friends. And we, reconnected, and we were talking all day, every day.
Started back
picked right up. And so that was June of 2020, and then he decided that, because he was a truck driver at the time, and he decided that for his next home time, he was going to come and see me in January for his birthday. And within 24 hours, and I would say probably within 12, he was there with me, and I just knew.
That's the one.
It was...
So how long, didn't mean to cut you off, but how long did it take for you guys? Because I want to see if I'm crazy about doing what I did. How long did it take for y'all to actually get married? Oh, you had to scratch your head on that.
See, so what had happened was...
Okay, here we go again. That's another see what had happened. A day?
It was, so we started dating the 3rd of February of 2021, and we were married by November.
Girl, that's me. What? Are we sisters?
Well, you can't see the family resemblance.
I think obviously. Girl, that was the same thing with me. I think it was like less than 8 months.
Yeah. When you know, you know.
When you know, you know. And then we already done been through things.
Yep.
And it's like, why wait 11 more years or so many more years to say, hey, this is the one. So we actually, like, after we got married, we was learning each other before. We definitely still learning each other now. So some things he do, I be like, why did I not know this before? Why did I get myself into this? But then when I done? What did I do? But when I compare him, because everybody always say, how you with him and how you didn't stay with your ex? You know what I'm saying? And I always explain them like, this person was around me when I was down. I was just finding myself. And when I was finding myself, girl, I was out every day. But it was something about him. I had this one person I was talking to, one friend who I was talking to, a place that I go out at. She was dating this older guy. And I was like, girl, I used to always tell my second mom, I ain't dating no old man. I am not dating nobody who's 4 years older than me. Okay?
Yeah.
And so, but the place I used to hang out at, they had the young, they had the old, they had the in the middle. Tried the young, tried my age again, and then I still was like, I was like, I'm not dating.
I can do it.
Nobody
I can do it.
older than me. 4 years older than me. I'm not dating nobody over that 4. Girl, if I tell you how many years, he's like 23 years older than me.
When you know, you know.
And when you know, I mean, the conversation was just so right. And I had to, after I told everybody, like, how many years he is older than me, you know, all the negative things were said. So, you know what I did? You want to hook him? Because you know I hold it. I removed everybody away from me. Family, friends. I removed everybody because I was, like, thinking about how everybody else going to feel and, you know, what they pointed to me, what I shouldn't do. And I was like, what do Tamika want? What does Tamika want to do? So I started going to his house every night. And then just started getting to know him, was dating. And so when you say reset, you have to go back there. You have to go back to why y'all started this.
Yep.
You know, got to go back to the conversations.
Yep.
You know, what made him want to continue to find you for, you know, all those years, for 14 years, you know. So that what made me happy. Like, I felt happy just going to his house, laying with him, just going out. He just it was a different smile for me and a different vibe, and I didn't feel lonely like at that time. I didn't feel lost, you know. And sometimes I still get triggered and I still feel lost because of something I suffer with. I was talking about that on another episode. I keep promising everybody I'm gonna talk about my depression on another episode. Yeah. So it's gonna come, but it's like he was able to pick me up, and I had other people picking me up. Like my second mom, I was after my ex did what he did. I was on the floor. Yeah. Like damn near didn't want to be here. Yep. Nothing like that, but she picked me up slowly. I had my sister in my ear picking me up slowly. So that support system was there. Everything. You know what I'm saying? And then when I met him, I was like, oh, he's another part of my support system. You know, he's picking me up he's picking me up this way. You know, he say things that I like, and I don't know if they're true or not, but he's saying things that I like, that I want to hear, you know. And then when I got with him, when we actually started dating, and then we got married, it was just like, I hope you stay there. I was nervous. I was like, I hope he don't lose this. Mm-hmm. You know, so he didn't lose it all the way, but then sometimes you get comfortable. You get complacent, yeah. You know, and so it'll start moving away. So now I'm like, Tamika, don't stay in something that you don't want to stay in. Yep. Be more vocal about what you want. And so I may get on his nerves. And I'm pretty sure if he was here, he was like, yep, he'll come in the podcast. Yep, she did get on my nerves. But I tell him, like, what I want, what I need. You have to. Because if I don't do that, I'm going to be back and you're just going to be miserable. I'm going to be asexual because I'm just going to be here. Just hanging out. I'm like, well, he can pay the bills. I just stay here. Yeah. You know, I talk shit sometimes. I'm like, oh, I just stay with him because he can pay the bills. I just stay with him, be on him. But I'm not really unhappy. I'm not unhappy with him. He just got to work on some things. You know, we still learning each other. Yep, exactly. So every year is different. Every month is different. Yep. You know, but what surprised me is that he's doing things that I wouldn't expect him to do because of how old he is. Because, you know, we always say older people are set in their ways and that they won't change. It's a lot of stuff about him that it's just not going to change. Yeah. But it's a lot of things that he said he wasn't going to change that he's changing. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. That's love. That's love, right? That's exactly what that is. That's love. But I mean, I'm so excited about the topics that you have brought up. Is there anything else on that topic before we shake this shit up? Is there anything else? We're gonna shake it up. Oh, we shaking this shit up. Is there anything else you want to talk about when it comes to how you identify yourself? Anything that you left out for the listeners to understand? I think I really just want to go back and reiterate that it really comes down to how an individual identifies. So, and this is speaking to the allies in the group. Okay. The people that are out there that want to be a good ally. Okay. Just remember that it's always okay to ask a person how they identify. Okay. There are a lot of people that use different pronouns. There are a lot of people that, you know, will use they and them pronouns, or, you know. So disrespectful, right? Well, and it's difficult for a person. So I have my best friend's partner is a person who identifies as non-binary and uses they them pronouns intentionally. Mm. There are some people who, in a disrespectful way, will call someone an it. Mm. That's disrespectful. Okay. But there are a lot of people who identify personally and say, I don't want you to call me he. I don't want you to call me she. I want you to call me they. Oh, okay. So they would say, call me they, call me them. Right. So it won't be disrespectful. Right. So if I had someone who's trying to do it, like being mean or whatever, and they say they or them because they not into, what you call it? I feel like they against. Yeah, it's people who are homophobic a lot of times will try and be disrespectful. But the funny thing about that is they kind of backwards themselves into being respectful by doing that. Because if you don't know, referring to someone as they or them, if you don't know what their pronouns are, typically is okay. Okay, so this whole time I thought that was disrespectful. Calling somebody an it is disrespectful. Okay. That's something that I hear periodically, where like, oh, well, I don't know what to call it, so I'm just gonna call it an it, and that's
That's
I
disrespectful.
I get that.
But there are a lot of people who intentionally use they and them pronouns.
So what would you say, the last question for that topic, what would you say for the people who have a hard time coming out, and for the people who have a hard time identifying themselves, what would you tell them? Like, because I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people on this earth who have a hard time coming out.
Yeah.
You know, from being accepted, and you know how their parents may feel, or how their friends may treat them. I had a friend like that, and I had to tell him, look, you need to tell your mama, your daddy. I don't care how it may hurt them, your pastor. You know, be yourself. Like, live in you, live for you, live in you. Like, be you. So, it was hard for him too.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people who are not safe to come out. So you can have a situation where someone will stay in the closet because it's safer for them to stay in the closet. And to those people, I would say, do what's right for you. I would hope, I always hope and pray that, you know, people can be in a situation where they can be safe to come out. But if they're not safe to come out, it's okay. If you are safe to come out, if you are not going to be harmed.
Okay, got you.
You know, like, there are a lot of people who are homophobic and have children who are gay, and they will kick them out as children. The homeless population, the teenage homeless population, is largely due to kids coming out to their parents and getting thrown out.
Okay.
That's not a safe situation.
Right.
You know, if you're in a situation where you're in an abusive home, or you're in an abusive relationship, or something where you're going to be physically harmed in some way, it's okay to hang out in the closet.
I think I have one more question.
Okay.
Because you said that, I just thought about it. I have heard people say, well, they wasn't born gay, or they was born gay. Do you think people are born gay? Or
absolutely. Absolutely, people are born the way that they are.
Okay.
I think that, I don't know anybody that would intentionally choose to be persecuted the way that gay people are persecuted.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it in that context, right? Like, okay, let's put it in a different context.
Because do you think that gay people are persecuted more than black people? Because
that's where I was going with it, was to say, me personally, I am crystal clear. I am white as ghost.
Okay.
I have a lot of privilege because of that. And as a person who is in a straight passing relationship, I have a lot of privilege because people assume that I'm straight. People don't see me out with my partner and want to throw eggs at me.
Right.
Because
I thought you were straight.
Right. And so people that are homophobic don't hate on me because I'm in a straight passing relationship. And the same way that I don't have to worry about going to certain parts of town.
Okay.
I don't have to worry about going out to too close to Alabama because the banjos are too loud out there. I don't have to worry about that because I'm white. And so there's a large population of people in this world who are persecuted because of what their aesthetic is, whether it's the color of their skin or the relationship that they're in, who they're hanging around with, who they're holding hands with as they walk down the street.
Okay.
There are a lot of unsafe places for people that are in gay relationships. There are a lot of unsafe places for people who have a different color skin than what I have.
Okay.
And I feel like there's a lot of crossover there as far as the hatred that you receive.
Okay.
So I think that if given the choice to be in a situation where you have privilege versus having a lack of privilege, I feel like most people would choose the privilege.
Right, than the lack.
Right. So putting it in that context, for me, is to say that I don't know that anybody would choose to be persecuted in that way.
I get now. I mean, I did understand that, but since you break it down like that, I can really have a deep understanding on that.
Good.
And I can see why most people choose not to say anything.
Yep.
You know, because who at the age of 12 or the age of 16 or even 21, depending on your age, want to just come out to their parents if their parents is not going to, take them in.
Yep.
You know, or anybody, your friends or whatever. So that's some good nuggets. I appreciate you with that. But now it is time. You ready? It's time
to shake
to
it up.
shake some shit up.
Shake it up.
I'm gonna let you shake it up.
Okay.
Shake it up. Oh, shake, 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 shake. Now you gotta pull the topic out.
Okay.
Just one.
Just one.
Mm-hmm. And I'll read it out to the listeners. Let's see.
Okay.
What does it say? That's a long one.
Yeah, it is. How did your upbringing shape your view of what you wanted for a healthy family relationship?
You can just put it on the table. You don't have to put it back in there.
So I actually come from a very healthy family. My parents are still together. They've been together for 45 years.
Okay.
It's me and my sister, and you know, my family was very much, you know, the Leave It to Beaver, white picket fence upbringing.
Okay.
And that has actually very much shaped how what I expected out of a relationship. And I think that in my first relationship, that was what I wanted.
Okay.
I wanted that Leave It to Beaver life. I wanted the white picket fence and the 2 cars and the nice house and the, you know, all the things that we had. And I sacrificed the relationship for that. I sacrificed the healthy relationship for that.
Okay.
And, you know, we had all of those things and we were miserable. And I think that my upbringing really had me searching for these materialistic things. Because, I mean, I grew up in a very affluent town. So I grew up nice.
Money.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up comfortable. And now the relationship that I'm in is so much healthier. And we don't have all of that stuff.
Right.
You know, we share a car. You know, we live in a townhouse. We don't have the white picket fence. You know, we are a 1-income household right now.
Okay.
So the relationship that I'm in now is much happier than the relationship that I was in before. And the one that I was in before had all the things that I was looking for, all the things.
But you wasn't happy.
But I wasn't happy. So I think that my upbringing shaped what I was looking for up to a certain point.
Because I didn't cut you off, but you went the way that you was raised, you went for that guy.
I did.
Okay.
I did. And I think that I still have a lot of leftovers from my upbringing as far as how my parents communicate with one another. So that has played heavy into my relationship now.
Okay.
You know, my parents have a very, very strong relationship. They talk to each other about everything. They get on each other's nerves.
I mean,
who doesn't?
Years, right?
Right. And 45 years, if you're not getting on each other's nerves, there's
it's
something
a problem.
wrong.
Yeah.
So, you know, my parents are both going deaf at the same time.
Oh Lord.
And it's so funny. It's so funny. And my dad, my dad actually had the doctor tell him that the range of sound that my mom's voice is in is the range where he's lost the most hearing.
How does that work?
I don't know. This is what he tells me, but my mom confirmed it that, you know, she heard the doctor tell him this.
Okay.
But the part of the audible spectrum where he's losing his most hearing is the part of the audible spectrum where my mom's voice is. So she could be talking to him as loud as can be, and he has no idea she's even speaking. It is hilarious.
So she's just yelling at him.
She has to, and he has no idea.
And he's just looking at her like, okay.
I see your lips are moving, but I can't hear
you.
And my mom and my sister and I all have pretty much the same voice. Like, you can't tell us apart when we answer the phone.
Wow.
And so it's so funny because we'll be up there and we'll up in Wisconsin, that's where my parents live. And we'll be up in Wisconsin and my sister and I'll be talking to my dad and he'll turn around and be like, "Oh, how long have you been talking?" Like, "Oh, geez, Dad, never mind. It's not even that critical."
Oh, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
But like my parents, they talk to each other and they have a good communication style, even though they can't hear each other half the time. They have a good communication style. My mom will come tap my dad on the shoulder and, you know, talk directly into his hearing aid. But like that really has carried over into my relationship now and how I communicate with my husband. And, you know, making sure that we're talking to each other, making sure that, you know, we have that open and honest communication with one another.
I like that. If I can say anything, I know we gotta keep it short, but if I can say anything about like my upbringing, it would be, you know, my mom was a single parent with 4 girls. She had 2 jobs. So the things that I felt that she could have shown, she didn't. And I think that she's trying to do it now, but I still feel my way about it because she do it with some kids, but she don't do it with all. And so I'm the one that she doesn't do it with. You know, she does it with 2, but she don't do it with the other 2. And when we was younger, you know, they always say, well, you cannot, the way that she chose to go down the road of raising her kids, we can't change that.
Right.
So my upbringing with that, I'm already emotional. So it made me depressed.
Yep.
And I think still to this day, it still make me depressed.
Yep.
Because I still think about, dang, if she would have just showed me this, you know, I wouldn't have to get this from my second mom. If she would have shown me this, then back in the day, I wouldn't have had to get this from my best friend at the time, mom. You know, like, and her dad. Because my best friend, when I was young, her dad and her mom was together for years, despite of what they went through. They stayed together. So I used to love going to her house because I seen a mom and a dad. And I seen a dad that goes to work and a mom that stays home and caters to her kids. So she used to always say, you know, you're my child, like when she first met me. And so I used to call her mommy and call her husband dad, you know, and like up to this day, if I see them and I try to say their names, like Miss, you know, Mr. I can't. It still come out money and that, you know, it's so crazy because I feel weird when she say, no, you can just call me Miss. And I'm like, I can't do that. I've been doing this all these years, but even though me and her daughter are not best friends anymore, I still, you know, send her messages sometimes. And whenever I see her dad, I still say hello and, you know, stuff like that. But when I was little, that relationship right there made me say, if I ever got married and if I ever had kids, like that's what I would want. Because I didn't see that, you know. And so now the way that I think, because of how I was brought up, I try to do the opposite of it, you know. And I think I do it. I try so hard that it don't be genuine in my relationship, if you can understand it. Like, I try to find love so much, you know, and I don't want to be lonely. And I feel like I was lonely for like a lifetime. I had my sisters, don't get me wrong. Right. My dad left when I was like 5.
That's not the same though.
It's not that mom love.
No, that's totally different.
Not that hugging around your baby, kissing on the cheeks, and I love you, you're beautiful. I had to get this from a man, like men. And so you can't really find the right person because you never got it.
Trying to fill that is you're just not going to be able to fill.
Right.
That. My husband deals with that too. He had an unhealthy upbringing and
she wasn't a bad mom though.
Yeah.
She was mean as hell, and she's still mean as hell. But she wasn't a bad mom because when I go back, now that I'm in counseling about it, in therapy, when I go back and I say, okay, well, she made that choice because of that. But I still think about, I'm the child. Yeah. So I still think about that and say, well, damn, she could have still did this. Yeah. Like the little simple things. Like, yes, for Easter, she made sure all her kids had Easter bunny. She made, like, those little things, the simple things, which I'm grateful for. I think it was just that love for me. Yeah. That made me say, damn, I wish I had more of that. Yeah. I wish I didn't have to find that in everybody else. Elsewhere, yeah. You know, and to sit here and talk about it without crying.
It's a lot of therapy.
Right, I have grown a whole lot because tomorrow I may cry. Yeah. But today I feel better, like opening up to you about it. Yeah. And not crying, being able to talk about it because maybe it'll help somebody else to say you can keep pushing, keep moving, and still give your child, or if you can't have kids, or adopt a child, you know, that same love that you wanted. You know, I would still do that. Yeah. And I still do that to like my nieces and anybody else that's in my life, but I still feel like, dang, I wish I just had my mom, you know? Like, I wish I had my dad. Like, I know these people, and the crazy thing is, they stay down the street from me. Literally 10, 15 minutes away. Oh, wow. Both parents. And it's just like, I just don't have that connection.
Yeah.
Like, do they know my favorite color? No. I think my mom just found out my favorite color last year, 2022.
Wow.
So, and that was coming from one of my sisters. You see what I'm saying? So I just, to have to get that from everybody else, it just make you say, why did you have me?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know if that you didn't believe in abortion, but why did you bring me on this earth? And I try my best to stay away from those thoughts.
That's
because
hard.
it will make you jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
But I still try to give love and inspiration out to other people. And I think that's what continue to make me live.
Mm-hmm.
And because the people that I have to support me, they remind me of, this is why you're here.
Yeah.
You know,
it's, you have to have that support system, whether that support system is parents or friends or adopted parents or whoever. You have to have that support system from somewhere. I have spent most of my life battling depression and anxiety, and it's brutal.
It's not fun.
It's brutal, and you know, the only way to get through it is to get through it with the support of the people around you, and that's it.
That's it. So I know it's time for us to go. So I want to say, you know, thank you for the support. Like, thank you for coming. Thank my support system for being my support system, because they the ones that keep me fighting.
Yep.
Fighting for life. Because the days that I feel like, Jess, I'm talking about, it be some days that I feel like, oh, why is I'm here? But I get a message or a phone call, or they'll say, come out with us and have a couple of drinks, you know, just to keep me going.
Yep.
You know, so I know it's a long time. I hope you come back.
Oh, for sure.
Because this was a good episode. And I can't wait to post this episode. You hear me? So this is your girl, Tamika. And this is my girl,
Miss Jess.
And we are out. Thank you for choosing Hookahs and Conversation.